Daniel. Wait. Something's going on outside. Not long after Sod paused over Otis's remark, a grating speaker whine rang out, followed by the worried voice of the bearer on the other end. We're under attack? I thought things were going a little too easy. No surprise that the other candidates are trying to eliminate us just in case. Why am I not surprised? Ooh, immediate into combat. This will probably lead to more talking after, though. Granted, it does give me a little bit more reprieve in the meantime. Come on, Gregor. You can do it. You can do it.
탈출 개체 확인.
신기기 조금 한번 먹였어.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없지는 않군요. 단테 적합한 조치였습니다.
흑승 뛴다 대충.
비뚤어졌구려.
I don't think I'm using my current set since I don't have enough glue for what I'll probably need in like future.
배고파했어. 잘 됐다.
깡참.
아직 죽지 마라.
Not even just with this first set of 6. I think the rest of my group is also not even on the affinities. I think I also haven't been paying attention to what y'all are weak to. Slash. Okay, well, I'm actually alright on that then. Your slash, Otis slash, Honolulu slash, Blunt, your slash. It's only 2 Pierce and 1 Blunt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, we're a party of 7? How did my brain not register this sooner? That we went to a larger party size of like active. It was 6-6. My brain has just now computed that the 7th slot person is also on field right now. What? I feel like I should have noticed that. Actually, that was true in the last fight too, because Falsta's been 7. I didn't even pay attention to the fact that she wasn't, like, subbed in.
미끼가 배고파했어. 잘 됐다. 그치?
Oh, after that,
탈출 개체 확인.
you know, it was after that, April Fool's event. I was like, I hope they have more things that have just all the sinners out. The fact that the party size is growing to have all the ideas,
좋아.
that seems like it's gonna be a reality at some point.
공간이 될 거야. 다음 먹잇감도 이런 식이었으면 좋겠어.
Whew. Oh, this is actually... There wasn't talking after that one. That was, like, very short talk, and then more combat. Okay, I can get through more than I thought. Thank you, lozenges! We're not sponsored by Ricola, but oh my god, I feel almost like a fool. Like, it's right there in front of me. It's 7. It's not backup unit. It's kind of the only downside of me coming out of being sick / kind of still sick but recovering. Probably the more accurate way to phrase that, but because I feel like I'm missing things that I would be capturing. Like even the basic stuff, like hey, there's a 7-party system right now. If that was discussed in like the notes for the season, I didn't read it. I read a lot of things about level caps, not any party size changes.
미끼가 배고파했어. 잘 됐다. 그치?
흑수묘, 뜀박질 중. 숨통 끊기.
Wow, the Ricolas actually helped a lot. I'm not even joking. Or at least they feel like they helped a lot. I still probably won't want to push it too long, but wow, that feels like a huge difference. I'm like so curious as to how this system's gonna kind of expand.
나쁘지 않은 성과입니다. 적출할게요.
가쳐. 죽어. 불쌍하게 울고 있네.
하겠습니다. 제대로 들어갔습니다.
미끼가 배고파했어.
깡참.
잘 됐다.
Even the whole hierarch thing has me thinking of it will work like a tournament, which is what I originally was kind of hoping for with Donkey, but that didn't happen. Donkey still works. It works for what it changed into, but I'd originally envisioned like a jousty tournament kind of style
미끼가 배고파했어.
with like the fair atmosphere. But this is literally being set up as like a hierarch evaluation, different candidates coming through that could pose into some sort of more likely combat situation. Which is why I'm envisioning tournament, which has me a little excited for this Canto, but also absolutely terrified, right? Because I am probably going to be in just the worst situation by the end of part 3. So far we're smooth. Part 1s are usually easy. Entering Dangguanyon now. Despite some troubles on the way, it seemed that we managed to arrive at our destination mostly unhurt. Dangguanyon, Honglu's hometown. Old home. I want to say hometown, but oh my god, this is all his old hometown on this entire corp. It's just... His old home is huge, and it's a town in of its own right. Oof, we're running out of time. Faust, I'm sure you understood, but the most important part of my plan, right? It is unlikely to be a pleasant sight to behold. Remember, the plan hinges on your patience, everyone. You have to remain calm and wait, even if they freak out and actively try to kill you. There is a chance that they might panic and immediately order for the sinners to be executed on the spot. However, it is unlikely that person whose responsibility is to judge the next family's hierarch of Hong Yuan will make such a hasty response. Exactly, everything's going to be fine as long as the decider has the capacity for patience. Execution? What? Great, I'll follow with the subsequent contact once you've safely completed the first round of the evaluations. After that cryptic exchange with Faust, Saw leapt gracefully off the moving pelican as Heathcliff murmured in his half-sleep. Come on, I'm missing details. There's a lot of just making me go in without knowledge, not just Heathcliff. Heathcliff slept through it, I just didn't get it. We watched her mitral grow smaller and smaller as the distance between us grew, but really caught our eyes with the scattered humans that the reconstructing day had evicted from their homes. They were trying to drag their broken bodies off the ground, sobbing and writhing. This is horrible. There isn't anything we can do to help, but such sense of futility and powerlessness will negatively impact the efficient and performance of your professional obligations. Repeated exposure to similar stimuli is recommended to desensitize oneself to this sensation. So, Hong Lu, how do you feel about going back home after so long? Sinclair changed the subject. I don't know. Don't even need to ask him, lad. I know it can't be easy. As for me, blimey, I hesitated almost 1,000 times, wondering if I should just turn around and leave. You should have. You should have. We all would have been better off had you just turned around and walked out. What if I knocked on those gates, but she... Heathcliff came to a suffocating stop, his voice trembling lightly as he did so. The other sinners stared at him in confused silence. Yeah, because they don't remember the she he's talking about. Which they're all better off. What is it? Why did you stop in the middle of the... Oh wow, look at those cool windows. I think we can swap them out with our images. With other images. I quickly tried to swerve from the subject again, but all I got was Ishmael's golden glare and the seemingly wordlessly telling me not the time. I remember. I remember what happened each time one of us returned to the part of the city that held our memories. Memories of happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy. And as we traveled, I remember that they were all looking at sceneries only they could see. Roja, you awkwardly tried your best to crack jokes. Sinclair, you tried your best to hold back the welling tears again and again. Yusong, you shut your eyes for a long, long time. Ishmael, you couldn't stop talking to yourself while glaring down at the lake's surface. And Heathcliff, I saw you scared and anxious, shaping your hair over and over again. You've really been watching us closely, huh? Did we? Spring leaves, petals scatter, and all shall turn around to find the doors to which they belong, and return forevermore. I think everyone has a small amount of petals they gathered for themselves. What? I don't... Why would anyone collect something like that?
그러면
And you simply haven't discarded them yet. There was still a transparent smile on his face, but I think I saw a burying, sinking shadow behind it. Oh. Oh no. The moment I felt that, a familiar light came into view, and I immediately understood what was going on. The golden ball is close, and it is resonating with Honglu's fathoms. They watch the flower burial of mine and mock away. Who lays me to rest once I die? When spring passes, youth passes as wrinkles shear it all away. Flowers pass, people pass, and ignorant they remain to where they hie. Why do you always recite these strange, complicated poems, Dayu? There are plenty of ways to remain young, aren't there? Because we needn't see the snow in our hair to know that spring will pass. Why are you cleaning up those fallen petals? Just float them away downstream. You'll get dirt on your hands. And be so wasteful. How will we hear the sound of falling rain once we sweep all the petals away? This is a remembrance of a rainy day. So I'm gonna treasure it. Besides, these beautiful blossoms will get dirty in the stream if we let them float away. So please don't scatter all the petals from your embrace, Big Bro Baloo. Big Bro, okay. I think that's who I'm assuming that's the love interest, who at least, as I knew them in the version of the book that I read as Black Jade. I wonder where they are in this hierarchy. Black Jade. Ah, this one has Tayu. Honglu. Is there anyone you miss here at Dangguanyan?
네.
No, there isn't. She's dead. Yep, super dead. Okay, that alignment that I thought was right was spot on.
어떻게
But
그럴 수가 있어?
how's that possible? Isn't your family there? And a bunch of other people who were so important to you? Sinclair, ooh, okay. I'm still way starting your book. You definitely love your family way more. I'm not entirely sure. At least for this, you had as much of a healthy family dynamic. Granted, I think you still loved your family. Not everyone gets that.
글쎄요. 잘 지내고 있다 믿고 있는다면
Well, as long as I believe them to be doing well,
그대여 그리운 마음을
there isn't any need for me to yearn to see them again. Just assume they're fine and move on with your own life. Do you still treasure your petals?
아니요.
No, I scattered them all the day I departed my home.
그래서 이젠 비 오는 날에는
So my rainy days are now silent.
소리들
I see.
보신 거죠? 단테님,
You saw that, didn't you, Dante?
제 기억을
You saw my memory. I did. Honglu laughed. He wasn't surprised or angry that I peered into his memories.
홍루 씨의
Do you want to tell us about your parents, or...
아니면 그
Yeah, you talked about your grandmother pretty often, right? What kind of person are they? What kind of people are they? Sinclair added carefully. Maybe he was trying to commiserate tenuous at the as the connection might have been. We were headed to meet his home. We were headed to his home to meet his family anyway.
두 분 다 이치에 밝으셔요.
As they are both very wise in the ways of the world,
할머니는 항상
grandmother
저를
always treated
아껴주셨고요.
me preciously.
어머니도 아버지도
So did my mother and my father. Ding! I want to, like, X it down on the father for just a tad while. Huh.
아, 거의 다 도착했나 봐요.
And we're almost there.
정원이 보이네요.
I can see the garden. This is one massive garden.
뭔가 안으로 들어가려면
We still have some time before we get to the main buildings.
옛날엔 정원에서
I remember the days when deer and hares would frolic out here in the garden.
이거 산책하려면
Well, I can see myself taking a long walk around here. Take a whole day and then some to cover the entire ground.
주로 저는
I
제가
usually
생각한
lingered only
주위에서만
around my
걸었어요.
own room.
여러모로
It's dangerous to
위험하니까요.
stray too far, after all. It's dangerous, why?
잘못된 길을 걷다가는 예상치 못한 사람도 만날 수 있고
There's a stranger danger getting lost, getting targeted.
밤에는 앞이 보이지 않을
Besides,
수
it's very dark at night. Well, it ain't a very big deal, is it? Kids run around, scrape their knees, get on bridges, trip and eat shite on the pavement all the time. I'm sure you would have run freely around the garden, Heathcliff, but it's important to always be careful. When I was 5, someone had let a deadly poison onto a random tree branch. Poison? I had a little brother who liked to frolic like you do, Heathcliff. But by some coincidence, he happened to be running around the same tree that had its branches lathered with poison. What had transpired thereafter? I'm sure he got better. Siren told me he'd be just fine after 100 nights rest. And because Siren was always so smart, I'm sure it happened exactly as she said. The fact that he's saying I'm sure it happened the way she said also makes me kind of doubt it, because I'll lose just saying I had a younger brother who happened to frolic. But also, like, something like, hey, he got better. Zirin said he got better after 100 nights. And I believed her because she was so smart. Not, Zirin said he got better after 100 nights, and he did. And I saw him after that. That bit wasn't quite there. Unless we're to believe that one of the brothers that we're going to meet is said brother. You know what? I'm going to risk it and do another one. I'm pushing it mainly because I don't want to stop. I don't want to. My throat wants to. Oh, I'm so glad they give some extra translation. Entering the Hot Young Grand Flower Hall now. I guess there wasn't something more direct. It wasn't long before our arrival to a new place within Dongwon was made known by the palanquin's bearer sonorous announcement. More buildings. What does the Hot Young mean? Grand Flower Hall. So I think you could call it a place for banquets. So you host banquets in this village-sized venue. Is that a lake over there? No, it's a pond. A pond? Damn. Once we arrive, we'll find ourselves a welcoming party for Jichuan and me. Rhoda, you should be able to build the stuff yourself with your heart's content this time. Been a while, hasn't it? I don't think I've been this excited in a long time. Oh, is that a ship over there? You have a ship? Yep. We'd sometimes go out boating. Oh, and Jichuan's building is right across that pond. You each get a building of your own? Yes, we do. So when I first departed from Hwangyong, I found the concept of the entire family living under the same roof so fascinating.
이래서는 가족끼리 얼굴 한번 보기도 힘들겠네만.
Alas, it would be quite challenging for thy family to see one another,
그러기 위해서 따로 쓰는
and that's exactly why we each get a building.
이거
Are we even talking about the same thing here?
거 맞아요?
AKA, this family doesn't want to see each other, so it's not to your room, it's go to your house.
이럴 거면 베케이션을 처음부터 홍로군의 집으로 잡아주지 그리하였어.
Alack for woe, we could have merely enjoyed our vacation at young Honglu's residence all along?
그건 곤란해요, 동키호테 씨.
That wouldn't have worked, Don
출발할
Quixote.
때 할머니와
When I left home, Grandmother and the others really impressed upon me that
때가 되면
the footsteps shall eventually bring you home when the time is right.
그 전까지는
Thus, witness and only witness as much of the world as you may before you make your return.
언제 오려나 했는데
I was wondering when that would be, but time really slipped through our fingers, and just like that, it brought me here. Most sitters did not welcome their turn. Some of them were even terrified of it. Sometimes they had to confront what they had been avoiding all their lives. And for some, important things that were once forgotten or lost were waiting for their return. But their reluctance was really not surprising at all. I don't think I'd welcome an opportunity to get my memories back with open arms if it was thrust upon me out of nowhere, especially if I was getting dragged there against my will. But despite the fact that it couldn't be more obvious that his turn had arrived, Honglu was as tranquil as he always was. He'd always been able to remain aloof, no matter what happens. Maybe it won't be different this time either. But even so, can I judge that so hastily?
아씨, 오프라님 행차시오.
Young Master Balyu, the Geo family has returned. Again, with the Pelican's bearer's deep, full-throated pronouncement of our arrival, the door opened.
자, 필요하실
Here we are.
텐데
You
어서
must all be
들어오세요.
so tired. Come in, come in. Leaving behind the sinners who were still reeling from the astronomical level of opulence at display, Honglu bounced lightly off the palanquin and moseyed into the building.
그거 참
Quite the
설렘도
light-footed steps he takes,
차분한 걸음.
unhindered by excitement nor trepidation. Right?
좋은 집에만 살아서
Rich boy's got nothing to fear because he's used to this kind of poshness. That's all this is. Verily, this may be a subsequent expression of that teensy part of him that longest to see his family again? Once we all left the palanquin,
모든 것이 상당히
I find myself bequeathed by overwhelming vestiges and objects of great magnitude. Just how many servants do they have?
아, 술시가 되면
Ah,
할머니가
grandmother will
방문하신다는데
visit us once Zhu hour arrives.
연애는 그때 시작될
The
것
banquet
같아요.
will start then, I think. Zhu hour.
술씨는 19시부터 21시
The Zhu hour
사이를
refers to the time between
동부의 특정
9,
지역에서 간혹 사용되는 고유 시간
19
체계죠.
o'clock, which is 7. So it'd be 7. That's 10. Yeah, 7 and 10. Oh no, 7 and 9. This is a unique time system used in the certain regions of the East.
추가로
In addition,
홍씨의 조모인 가문은
it would be best to remember that Honglu's grandmother,
홍원의
Jiamu,
수장이라고
is the hierarch of the Dongguanyan. It would not be an incorrect assessment to see her as the ruler of Hongyuan. Your relative is the head of a wing, I see.
네. 이제 곧
Yes,
다음
she'll
후계자에게
be handing that
가족을
over to the next
넘겨주시길
heir pretty soon.
이제 와서 가주의 자리를
Why
넘기려는
now?
이유가
Why
뭐지?
does she seek to achieve Eve by abdicating at this precise time? Otis says she probably saw an ulterior motive. Okay. I think the Ricola is finally met its match. Rather, it's not helping as much as it was. Okay. Otis says she probably saw an ulterior motive behind every move inquired.
언제나 때가 올 거라고 하시긴
She's been
했어요.
saying that her time would eventually come,
너무 오랫동안
that she carried this
하셨다는
responsibility for too long.
갑자기 나타나서
I bet
가족
she'd
대전에 참가한다고 하면
Be
깜짝
pretty shocked to
놀라시겠어요.
hear that you'll be taking part in the family hierarch war.
글쎄요.
I don't know about that.
어쩌면
Maybe she'll take it
감당하실지도
well.
모르겠어요. 구태여 나갈 이유는 없지만
There's never been a reason for me to bother participating, but there wasn't a reason for me to not either.
저쪽에 시추님과 웨이님이
There's
앉아
Shi
계세요.
Chun and Wei over there.
다행히
Looks like they both
무사히
arrived
도착하신
safely.
거예요.
One who arrived before us, Shi Chun, and who arrived before us shot us the briefest glance before looking away with exaggerated disinterest.
방금 시추님이
Shi Chun
저희를 보자마자
turned her
고개를
back
왜-
on us.
그 잠깐
Well,
사이에
didn't take long for things to become super awkward.
오, 우리도
Ooh, we must
시추분이
capture this
옆에
opportunity to
사는
seat ourselves adjacent to Shi-Chun. Don't you about to make it more awkward. Too late. We are forever banned from ever getting anywhere near her.
어째서 온 말인가?
Yet wherefore?
저희는 이제
We are no longer
가시춘
Shi-Chun's faction.
적으로 취급받는 것이
Her hostility is to be expected.
분위기가 바뀌었다.
Things have changed.
이쪽과 저쪽.
Us versus them, in-group versus out-group.
전장은
Deception and treachery are natural parts of war.
오늘의 아군은 내일의
And now
적이
today
되기도
may as well all become an enemy tomorrow.
친구가 없다는 말을
That's a funny way to say I don't have any friends. What did you just...
아, 부모님이 저기
Ah,
계시네요.
there are my parents.
갑자기 바로
Oh,
간다고?
wait. Are we gonna be both? We saw mother. Hold on, we're just walking right up to them. Blimey, at least tell us their names.
아, 아버지 조남은 가시정.
Ah, father's name is Zheng of the Jia family.
이라고 불리신답니다.
And in Dongguang, they call my mother Lady Wang. Lady Wang.
출가 이후 처음으로 인사 올립니다.
I greet you for the first time since my departure.
가시보. 지금
Value of the Jia family has returned home.
벌써 왔는데.
You're early. Val, dear Value, it has been too many years.
오랜만에 얼굴을 보니
To see you again after so long, it is good to see your face. You don't look happy. You don't. This lady's lying.
어떤 말부터
I don't know what I should even say. The father Jia Shang's eyes darted nervously between us and Hong Lu. He's absolutely not happy. Meanwhile, his mother gingerly brings him in for a careful embrace as though she was in the presence of something so utterly deeply moving. It was more than the pure joy of reunion. I don't call it joy. So they're Hong Lu's parents.
환영해 주시니까
Thank you so much for your hospitality. You have certainly spared no expense.
그런데 같이
So,
온
who
분들은
are these people you've come here with?
대단한 숫자는 아니지만 밖에서
Well, there aren't too many of them. They are my friends I made out in the world.
부하라고 소개하던
At least he's not introducing us as his lackeys like a certain someone I know. Oh, wait, that's... Hong Lu's mother slowly turns around to look at us. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but somehow it almost felt like she was looking down at each of us one by one.
반가워요.
I'm so glad to meet you all.
우리가 어릴
Value's
때부터
always been
친구지만
such a stubborn child. I'm sure he's quite the handful to accompany you on your journeys. I hope you can still embrace him despite every stubborn. Honglu? Whatever it was she said, they don't seem all too happy to hear that. I wonder if they don't like him referring to himself as Honglu. Dear Baoyu, why do you allow your friends to call you by that name? What of your noble blessed name bestowed upon you by the revered Zhonrin, our elders? What's going on with her? Honglu reached out and gently yet indifferently held his mother's violently trembling hands.
당연하잖아요, 어머니.
Of course I would, mother. Because the name is too noble indeed. Oh, yes, it is not a thing that any rabble should so heedlessly speak. Of course. Do you also have an old name and a new name? Well, don't you remember back in P Corp? We called Honglu Young Master Baoyu. Also remember he announced himself before that duel on the way we arrived at H Corp? He introduced himself as Baoyu of the Jia family. That was a pseudonym back then, though, given the circumstances. Well, it ain't like us calling your real names gonna cheapen its nobility or whatever. It's just a name, so you can say it as many times as you want, and it won't depreciate in whatever value it has. But some people actually believe that it does, I suppose. It was wise of you to refrain from using that name. Right. To let your precious name be known amongst the plebeian populace is to encourage knives in the dark to strike, even here too.
모친의 말씀대로 홍루 씨의 본명은 H사에 한 번이라도 연이 닿은 자라면
It is as your mother says.
알아차릴 수 있는
For your true name to be made known, an individual with a passing connection to H-Corp would have easily connected you to Hong Yuan. It is said that most names are repositories for their keeper's origins. In the eastern regions of this city, when the parents name their children, they imbue them with the meaning. It carries their wish for their children's place and use in the world. You, what's your name mean? My name is a culmination of wishes. Not only those of my parents, but those of many more. It means that I was born with a precious jade. Jia Baoyu. Awful. Honglu's better. At least try to whisper. No, Ryoshi will never. I'll call the rich boy however I want to. Whoever affords to call him Young Master Baoyu or some servile shite like that, I'd rather take a punch or two from the guide. I could feel the horrified glances of the servants staring at us. I don't mind, so please continue to call me Honglu if you want. Please seat yourselves, honored guests. The food will be served soon. Wait, what's all this? Do they actually expect us to eat all this? I don't think I've ever been intimidated by food before. There was quite literally a mountain of dishes on the table. I was starting to wonder if the purpose of these dishes was more to flaunt their wealth than to be fed. They feed us a reasonable amount of food. What a feast. I can ask for refills, right? Yes. Anyway, what's up with those empty seats over there? Are we still killing time for some guests to arrive?
그건 아닐 것 같아요.
I don't think so. They're probably seats for my older siblings,
대관원 어딘가에
somewhere in Dongyuan. They probably just didn't want to attend.
오늘은 저를 환영하기 위해
There's a banquet to welcome me, after all. I'm sure they believe it's a waste of time to attend. Slash, we'll be meeting them later. Man, they better be some really busy schedule to miss this.
감옥께서 당도하셨나이다.
Jiamu Verdant, by her presence, graces us. Jiamu Verdant, by her presence, graces us. With the announcement, utter silence quickly devoured the busy hubbub of the banquet. Those who were sitting rose to their feet and bowed. Those who were standing knelt down on all fours, their backs bent so low that their foreheads were nearly touching the floor. Okay, just throwing out a thought. These don't look like the Heisho IDs that Roja and Gregor are. So these are potentially even further down IDs. Granted, I may need to double check, but these don't give off snake, which is what the Gregor and Rojas are. Those are also more blue in coloring, if I remember correctly. These look like more of almost like hawk talon bird, which I also wouldn't expect because I kind of assumed it was based off a Chinese. Maybe it's rooster. Oh, it could be rooster because I thought they were. I was getting the impression that the Heisho were based off a Chinese zodiac. And the woman walking out from between them and the crowd itself parting down the middle from her sheer presence.
할머니가
Oh,
오셨네요.
there's grandmother. Was Hong Lu's grandmother, the family hierarch of H Corp and its chief executive director. Jiamu's presence was at once warm, gentle, yet immense and overwhelming, like a personification of an insurmountable mountain. We are graced by your presence, venerable Jiamu. We are graced by your presence, venerable Jiamu. Should we bow too? I don't think you could bow any lower with your face halfway in the bowl, so you should be fine. Probably.
흙수처럼 보이는 사람들도 있어요.
She's surrounded by Heisho too, I think. Guys, everything's gonna be fine as long as we don't do anything stupid. As everyone was bowing before Jiamu, all unhumbled, only Hong Lu looked straight at Jiamu without bowing. Then he got up from his seat and walked toward her.
할머니.
It's been a while, grandmother. Please ascend, young master of Baoyu. It seems that special permission was needed to even stand next to her, as Hong Lu was allowed to approach her only after the servant gave him the go-ahead. Little Baoyu, you must have walked and toiled tirelessly on your journey home.
그렇지 않아요, 할머니.
Okay,
함께했던
this
분들이
seems like
친절히
one thing.
대해주신 덕에 새로운
Not
걸
all,
만들어볼 수
grandmother.
있었는
I was able to learn so many new things, thanks to everyone who treated me so nicely. Had you sought to master the art of learning, no master, regardless of pursuits, would have been out of your reach. You could have learned much in the halls of the erudition from them? Yet the world taught from sheets of paper that are simply that, words on paper. We wish that you, dear Baoyu, would learn more of the secular world, to not yet flow betwixt your fingers the time that is given you. I know this opportunity was more than what I deserved, grandmother. I appreciate your return all the same. That you had designed to return before me in my abdication of the great responsibility. Verily, it appears that young Hong Lu Shui into Limbus, Ash, and Turismo of sorts. It's a grand Turismo. Sorry, can you not eat and talk? It's so hard to read. You too, Roja. Actually, I expect this more of Roja than Donkey. Come on. Gran Turismo? What's that? Can you and the two of you stop babbling with your mouths full? Young masters of family most eminent are all set out on the world on a grand tour. Thus, going was to practice Gran Turismo. If thou wilt, afore they are to commence their public activities. The purpose is to learn the varied experience that cannot be gained from books, to grow familiar with the world outside. I hear that you have met with Shu in the world not long ago.
그럼요.
I have. A bright child she is, well prepared to take on the challenges of the family hierarch evaluations, I presume.
맞아요.
I agree. I am sure
영리나를
G2
잘
will
되겠죠.
wisely overcome the trial. Indeed. Have you paid a visit to the revered elders, then?
곧 방문드리려.
I will, soon. Lady Wang, ascend here as well.
송구합니다, 가문.
With your mercy, GMU, of course. Hong's mother hurried up to where GMU stood. It must cause your heart great distress to have your one and only son depart his home to wander the world beyond the hedges.
아닙니다,
Of
가문.
course not, GMU.
저는
Oh, I am simply so glad that my son, Bao Yu,
이렇게 제 목소리를
has returned as a man who can now more than carry his own weight, and unharmed too.
그러니 보가
Thus, dear Bao Yu,
재촉할 생각은
I don't mean to rush, but when are you planning to depart again?
출간
아직 정해진 건 없어요.
Nothing has been decided yet, Mother. I see. I am simply concerned that you are staying here prolonged. Perhaps you might fade before your duties are completed.
어서 소임을 다하고 돌아와야
Complete your duties and return soon, so that the agreement GMU has so graciously made for us is fulfilled. Okay. I feel like that's more details than we got earlier. Or I didn't catch it as much earlier. There's an additional deal that sent him out.
그래.
Indeed.
잃지도 말고 잊지도 말거라.
Lose not, forget not.
너는 우리
You are our
가문의
family's one and only Jade.
우리의 둘도
Dear
없는
Bao Yu,
지혜로운 후.
our peerless treasure, tarry not over long in this mundane world.
때가 되면
Leave when the
다시
time is
떠나
right
그
and
가치를
fulfill your worth.
그럴게요.
Okay, grandmother.
할머니,
Mother.
어머니.
Y'all are tense. Zhu Bao Chai.